friends, Angela here with Love God Greatly. I'm so excited that you are joining us for our last week in our Esther study. Today we find Esther, and what we think she should be celebrating because Haman is dead, we see her in a situation where she feels hopeless and she's pleading to her king, King Xerxes, for her people. She feels hopeless because there's this edict that's been written by her husband and his buddy Haman to annihilate all of her people. And even though Haman is gone, the edict is still there. And so she feels hopeless and helpless in a situation, and she's trying so hard to help her people. And this whole time through the book of Esther, I've been kind of watching her relationship and her marriage with King Xerxes. And, you know, she really wasn't married to a very easy man. I know she was an orphan girl who became queen, and I know that's glamorous and something that Disney movies would write, do a movie about. But truly, her marriage really wasn't a fairy tale. Just looking at the scriptures, we can kind of see, I think maybe the man may have had a drinking problem. There's a lot of talk of wine and banquets, and it seems like when that's going on, he's making some pretty bad choices, and he is prone to anger. And so I think he probably wasn't maybe the easiest man to be married to. And we also just see that even with Queen Esther, I'm sure, she struggled with just feeling loved as an orphan girl, and then having really her only relative, Mordecai, who's her cousin and who raised her as a surrogate father. For him to come to her and say, hey, I need you to approach the king. Yeah, I know he hasn't, asked to see you or be with you or speak with you for 30 days, but hey, I need you to risk your life and approach him because for such a time as this, you are placed in this position. And though there's a part of her that I'm sure wants to be brave and strong, there has to be another part of her that is just scared to death and is not feeling up to the challenge. And almost wondering, Mordecai, come on, you're like the only one in my life who truly loves me for me, and now you're asking me to do something that I could die. And I'm sure that just looking through the whole book of Esther, as we've been reading it from chapter 1 to chapter 8 now, just all the different emotions that she has went through. And yet I also see how God has strengthened her through all of this. And so today we see her in a situation where, yes, like I said, Haman is dead, but yet there's this edict out there. And so she's pleading for her people to King Xerxes. And in this hopeless situation where there's no ray of hope, this is when God, I think, shines the brightest, because he comes in and he does something in these verses where before it's like the King Xerxes didn't get his wife, and the fact that he didn't understand, I think, truly what this edict was intended to do. And then all of a sudden it's like God opens his mind or opens his heart, and he can understand what Esther has been after this whole time. It's not about just saving her life. It's saving the lives of all of her people. And suddenly a couple that was kind of divided on this, or at least, King Xerxes didn't really understand the severity of the edict in which he wrote. God unites them, it appears. And all of a sudden, King Xerxes understands. And he is with her and supports her and wants to help her. Yes, he can't overrule the law that he had written, but he can write another one. And he gives Esther and Mordecai the power to write another law to where they can defend themselves now against their enemy. And I don't know what situation you're in. I know we're all in situations in life where a lot of times we feel like they're hopeless. And we feel like we're just stuck, and that there's no hope, and there's no hope for change. And yet in this story, I want to encourage you that if you are feeling that way, look at how God intervenes through the king and through Esther and Mordecai to save his people. He comes through in a way that only God can. He works through people's lives and their hearts and their minds. And I just want to encourage you with that today. If that you're in a hopeless situation, if you are maybe on the verge of divorce, or maybe something's going on with work or with your children, Don't give up hope. Keep pushing forward. Keep praying. Keep believing. And keep looking for God to work on your life. Doesn't always mean it's going to happen in our time, but it always happens in God's time. And so I just want you to encourage you with that today. So again, thank you so much for joining us for our book of Esther. We have still Wednesday and Friday left. And again, thank you so much for joining us. So until next time, love God greatly. Bye-bye.